The president tweeted out about the FBI scandal controversy. He wrote, quote, "If the person placed very early into my campaign wasn't a spy put there by previous administration for political purposes, how come such a seemingly massive amount of money was paid for services rendered many times higher than normal? Follow the money. The spy was there early in the campaign, yet never reported collusion with Russia because there was no collusion. He was only there to spy for political reasons and help crooked Hillary win, just like they did to poor Bernie Sanders, who got duped." That's so true. Joining us with reaction, Republican Congressman Jim Jordan. Matt Gaetz. No one ever talks Bernie Sanders. The whole thing was rigged. But Jim Jordan, let me start with you. There's a lot happening tonight. Number one, your letter, and there are 100 congressmen that want you to be speaker. And frankly, I would like to see you be the next speaker.
If and when there's a race, Sean, I plan on being part of that discussion. There's not one now. What we got to focus on is doing what the American people sent us here to do over the next few months so that we can stay in the majority and help Donald Trump accomplish the things that the American people elected us to do. And that's what I'm focused on doing. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about where we are today, Congressman Gaetz. I have zero faith in Rod Rosenstein and the DOJ to actually hand over the documents, because we know specific documents will be absolutely damning if they come out against these very people. Why would they do that to themselves?
Well, and Sean, that's one of the reasons why I don't believe at the upcoming meeting that Chairman Nunes is having with members of the intelligence community that there will be any production of documents, and that's deeply concerning to me. If you have to look at the scoreboard right now, the deep state is winning the battle because they are in full control of their own destiny. That's why Congressman Lee Zeldin and Jim Jordan and I joined with more than 24 of our colleagues to call for a second special counsel.
Is that
so
the
that
best
we have a
way,
true
though?
process?
Jim,
Absolutely, Sean.
You think it is the best? Well, the Inspector General's ridiculous, because he's 18 months into the Clinton email investigation. We don't have that kind of time.
Well, and Sean, this will be a reason for them to delay the Inspector General report, because now we're back in Inspector General land, and so now we won't get the answers on Hillary Clinton.
Well,
as
he
fast
said it
as we
was
need
separate
to.
and apart, and that has already been handed over, as I understand it. Jim Jordan, here's the problem we have, though. We have FISA abuse. We know outright judges were lied to in literally the single biggest intrusion into a person's constitutional rights, a FISA warrant. 4 times they lied. The bulk of information, that phony dossier, they never told the judge who paid for it.
Right,
4
Sean,
judges.
The Department of Justice says, don't worry, we can investigate ourselves. Even though, as you say, they took a dossier to a secret court to get a secret warrant, didn't tell the court who paid for it, namely the Clinton campaign, didn't tell the court that the author of the document, Christopher Steele, had been fired by the FBI. They say, don't worry, we can investigate ourselves, even though it now appears there were paid informants who were hanging around the periphery of the Trump campaign. They expect us to investigate
Think about
themselves.
this. Think of what you're saying. Spies in the campaign, lying to judges to get FISA warrants to spy on an opposition party candidate, with propaganda from Russia put together by a foreign national that was full of lies, and literally they don't tell the judges in any. I cannot believe, I wouldn't write this in a spy novel because I wouldn't think anybody would believe it.
Jeff Sessions says only under extraordinary circumstances do you name a special counsel.
Now,
how about the fact that top 5 people at the FBI have been fired or demoted? Those same people who ran the Clinton investigation, who launched the Russian investigation, who used the opposition research document at the FISA court, and now look like they paid informants to be a part of the Trump campaign. How about that for a fact pattern that's extraordinary? If that's not extraordinary, someone better tell me what is.
And hey, that's why Jim Jordan should be Speaker of the House. Then we'd have some real oversight.
Checkmate. I'm not going to argue. All right. By the way, for the record, I'm supporting Jim Jordan. I just endorsed him. That might be the kiss of death for him. Thank you both. All right.